What's up, everybody? This is Fred Rachani of TSC News here to review WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs TLC 2011. With TLC 2015 right around the corner, I figured I'd go back and watch all the old TLCs and give you guys my raw thoughts. The reoccurring theme in all these TLC pay-per-views is what could have been. These cards, especially early on, all feature great young talent like Sheamus and Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, and kind of just all goes downhill progressively every single year, and 2011 was no different. Now, 2011 was a pretty decent card. 2012 was really good, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. But we'll get to that when we get there. Right now, we're focusing on TLC 2011, which, by the way, is streamable right now on the WWE Network. This show took place December 18th, 2011, at the First Mariner Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, a historically great sports town and especially a wrestling town. NWA country for sure. And we kicked things off with Zack Ryder, who at the time had so much momentum coming off the heels of his YouTube show, Z True Long Island Story. This guy was so over. I was at MSG, Survivor Series 2011, a month before. And Zack Ryder, I kid you not, got a bigger pop than The Rock and John Cena. A bigger pop than CM Punk. All right, maybe it was, maybe not bigger, but it was right there at that level. And I'll tell you this, The Rock cut a promo at the end of the night. And it was a nice, heartfelt promo. And people were still cheering for Zack Ryder, and he wasn't even booked on the card, although he did have a run-in. Yeah. Insane. And it's a damn shame what's happened to him, which is, well, being relegated to NXT, teaming up with Mojo Rawley, the most annoying human being alive. Poor guy. At least at the time we're recording this, he is dating Emma, and, could be worse, right? Could be worse. But we had Zack Ryder defeat Dolph Ziggler to win the United States Championship. Sadly, this reign was so short-lived. I think he lost it about a month later to Jack Swagger. Just a damn shame. A damn shame. It really is. Nobody was asking for Zack Ryder to become a main eventer, but here's a guy that marketed himself, that got his merchandise over, that got his gimmick over, YouTube show over. People want to talk about Xavier Woods and his YouTube show, but Zack Ryder was way ahead of the curve, and the poor guy just got buried for it because he wasn't in their plans. Why you couldn't keep this guy as a lovable mid-carder that made you some money, to this day, I'll still never know. But his old tag team partner, Kurt Hawkins, in an interview outside of WWE, talked about it about a year ago, said it was really disheartening to see Zack Ryder work so freaking hard only to get buried and stay at a certain level. Actually, he got below the previous level he was in, which is almost non-existent, and it's a damn shame. I asked JTG the same thing when I interviewed him, JTG of Crime Time, and yeah, same reaction. Pretty much all those mid-card, lower-card guys were devastated because here was Zack, got himself over, did his thing, worked his ass off, and yeah, we all know what happened there. So a damn shame, but if you're a Zack Ryder fan, cherish this moment because, it ain't getting any better from here. We had Air Boom, Evan Bourne, and Kofi Kingston defeat Primo and Epico, a.k.a. Los Matadores, to retain their tag team titles. Okay match, but Air Boom would later go kaboom because Evan Bourne was dumb enough to fail not one, but 2 drug tests for synthetic marijuana. Whereas if he actually smoked real marijuana, maybe he would have gotten buried, maybe he would have gotten fined, but it's unlikely he would have been suspended. I had to drink some water there because I almost went off. I don't want to. To this day, Evan Bourne is still one of the more criminally underrated wrestlers of the last 5, 6, 7 years. He really is. But that whole undoing of his WWE career, unfortunately, well, you can make the argument a guy deserves a second or third chance. He kind of screwed it up for himself. But he seems to have revitalized his career in ROH and on the Indies. But Yeah, he had a good thing going with Kofi, and, well, unfortunately for both of them, Evan Bourne done screwed up. We had Randy Orton beat Wade Barrett in the tables match. So Randy Orton defeats Wade Barrett. And Wade Barrett, a year after being in the main event of TLC 2010, was in a horrible reincarnation of the Nexus called the Core, which featured some of the worst merchandise of all time. He did multiple jobs to guys like Ezekiel Jackson. And, yeah, he lost to Randy Orton here. We had Beth Phoenix retain the Divas Championship against Kelly Kelly. This match sucked, but Beth made it work because Kelly Kelly can't work. We had Sheamus beat Jack Swagger. This was a nothing match. Way too short to mean anything. I think it went only about 5-6 minutes. We had The Big Show beat Mark Henry in a chairs match to win the world title. Another really short match. I believe Mark Henry was injured at the time. And then, what do you know? Daniel Bryan, who was Mr. Money in the Bank at the time and was an afterthought, came out, pinned The Big Show after Mark Henry attacked him, and won the world title. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, my God, Fred. Why are people saying they buried Daniel Bryan? He won the world title back in 2011. Well, you see, all he did was come out, roll over Big Show, and pin him. And then he was proceeded to be booked like a joke for the next year and a half. Now, he got over because he turned out to be a lot better on the mic than WWE thought he would be. But the funny backstory, just to show you the lack of planning, they made the decision to put the title on him that night. He wasn't even booked for the pay-per-view. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, they had to find him, and they got lucky that he was making an appearance within that, where is it, Baltimore? Yeah, he was making an appearance within the Baltimore area, so they were able to say, hey, grab your gear, come here, we're going to give you the title tonight. And he proceeded to kind of have a joke reign, got a few wins here and there. If you guys want to see a really special match that shows the true greatness of Daniel Bryan, a couple months from this pay-per-view was Elimination Chamber. And the final two people inside Elimination Chamber were Daniel Bryan and, of all people, Santino Marella. And Daniel Bryan did such a phenomenal job of making people take Santino seriously that they thought he almost would have won the world title with Santino hitting the Cobra, which is essentially, whoop, that. Just poking a guy in the head and knocking him out. Now, Daniel Bryan ended up winning, and WWE didn't bother capitalizing on Santino's momentum, and WWE ended up having Daniel Bryan job in 18 seconds to Sheamus at WrestleMania 24, or not 24, what was it, 28. But what was supposed to be the beginning of a huge push for Sheamus ended up being the beginning of the end for him as a viable main eventer, not that he ever really was, and it started the rise, the groundswell of support for Daniel Bryan and the yes movement. So, we had that. We had Cody Rhodes defeat Booker T to retain the IC title. I think this is actually Booker T's this was Booker T's final singles match on WWE pay-per-view. He still wrestles here and there for his promotion Reality of Wrestling, but this was essentially, I guess, his retirement match in WWE. He did technically wrestle in some tag matches here and there, wrestled at WrestleMania 28, but as far as singles matches go, this was like his last big singles match in WWE, and we all know what happened to Cody Rhodes. He became Stardust. His career has gone nowhere. He's married to Eden Styles, so he's certainly winning at life. But man, such an underrated worker in my opinion. He proved in 2013 with that feud with The Authority that he can cut a promo and that he can be a hot baby face. And now he's just some doofus in a costume that's a ripoff of Goldust. Stardust does have a cult following, but that cult following ain't big enough to get him from underwater because his career has sank, and it's a shame. And we had CM Punk defeat The Miz and Alberto Del Rio in a tables, ladders, and chairs match to retain the WWE Championship. Really good match. Very surprising John Cena wasn't involved. He wasn't even booked for his pay-per-view, which was very, very shocking. And, yeah, nobody really took The Miz seriously after The Miz got jobbed out to John Cena and The Rock multiple times last month. And Alberto Del Rio, he wasn't really taken seriously anymore either because the guy had won the world title by cashing in at SummerSlam 2011, lost it a month later. I still can't believe it. He lost it a month later. He lost the title a month, less than a month later, to John Cena. And here's a guy that they were trying to build, Mexico around, and he's the next big Hispanic star, and he's got the looks, he's got the charisma, he's got it all. I mean, he was missing a little something, but they were protecting him for the most part. So what do? They have him lose to John Cena because they panicked over some bad Raw rating at the time. Then 2 weeks later, he beat John Cena and CM Punk at Hell in a Cell to win the title back. And then a month later, he loses to CM Punk. What? It makes almost less sense than his most recent comeback where he was booked with Zeb Coulter, of all people. Man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, I feel like Drake now. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ugh. And to top it all off with CM Punk, this was coming off the heels of Summer of Punk, where Punk cut that pipe bomb promo that got the whole wrestling world talking. Only for him to miss just 1 week of television, confront John Cena. They did some Fugazi unification match because John Cena won the title when it was vacated and CM Punk was technically still champion. And then a month later, he loses to Triple H, who was a part-timer. He lost to Triple H. Can you imagine Stone Cold on his rise to the top in 98 losing I don't know. I'm trying to think of a guy. I mean, at the time. I mean, just imagine him losing to Shawn Michaels in 1998. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So CM Punk's on the rise. The guy has a chance to be the hottest superstar since Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he loses to Triple H. And then he loses to Alberto Del Rio at Hell in a Cell. He won the world title at Survivor Series, but he wasn't the main event, nor should he have been because, The Rock was the main event. And then he main events his pay-per-view, beats a couple guys, but there are 2 guys that John Cena had already beaten. And then Punk proceeded to have a year-long title run that was very entertaining, but unfortunately was never considered a true main eventer compared to John Cena, who headlined most of the shows, unless, of course, he was going up against CM Punk. But a great run nonetheless, and, well, now CM Punk is plying his trade in the world of mixed martial arts. I wish him the very best with his upcoming UFC debut in 2016, and, well, it's a shame how his career ended. Leaving WWE the night after Royal Rumble 2014, currently in litigation. We'll see what happens. But, folks, I want to hear from you. What did you think about TLC 2011, which I thought was pretty decent? Were you there in attendance? Did you order the show at the time? Have you gone back and watched it on the WWE Network? Are you interested in watching it on the WWE Network? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please share, take care. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth wrestling coverage. And until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the matches.